Welcome back. This is a continuation of the previous video. So we are currently looking at introduction to JavaScript, and in the previous video we're able to go through all of this, what JavaScript is in details. So in this video we're going to look at where can I use JavaScript, what can I use JavaScript to do. So JavaScript is used for a wide range of purposes, including creating interactive user interfaces, validating forms, and animating web pages. So in the previous video, we were able to look at some of these things like interactiveness of a web page, and we also saw making a web page dynamic. So let's look at some more examples of the uses of JavaScript. So in this case, we are looking at JavaScript can be used in developing interactive user interfaces. Should have highlighted this as well. So because this is together, so we have interactive user interfaces, we have validating forms, and animating web pages. So we looked at this site the other time, or in the previous video, and we can see that this site is interactive because we can perform or do something on this site and get feedback. For instance, if I run this code, you get to see results, right? So this I believe some other tools are used in achieving this particular functionality, but JavaScript is involved as well. So to be able to make this page interactive, users getting feedback based on their interaction with the page, their activity on the page, and all of that. That is the work of JavaScript. So in JavaScript, you have something called events, where you trigger an event and something happens. So for instance, a click can be an event. So when I click on a button, something happens as the event is triggered. A scroll can be an event. So when I scroll through a web page, an event is triggered, and then something happens based on how the site is designed. So the second part talked about validation. So here we see validating forms. So we can use JavaScript to perform validation. So when you design your application, you don't want to submit a form without validating that the user have provided the required field. If not, you will get an error on the back end. So you want to make sure all the required fields are provided before you submit it to the backend. So JavaScript can be used for this kind of validation. So in this case, these fields have not been provided and the user tried to submit. It doesn't make sense to submit an empty form, create a user when data is not provided. So you want to validate this to make sure that all the required data are provided before that can be submitted. So JavaScript is used for this as well. And we can see animating web pages. So we can use JavaScript to animate some things on the web page as well. If we look at some websites like, let's say, Unreal Engine is a platform that is used for game development. So if you look at this site, this could actually be a video, right? I'm not saying this is used. I'm not saying this particular animation is done with JavaScript, but if you scroll through the site, you will see some cool feature. You can see as I scroll down, you can see there is this particular animation or video is being resized, and that is a cool feature. And you can see some things dropping off as well. So this particular feature can be achieved with JavaScript. So this is a form of animation as well. And when you visit some site, you can see some slide scrolling, maybe to the left or to the right on the web page. So these are all animations, and you can use JavaScript to achieve that. So you can see when you scroll to an extent, you can see that the cursor changes. Up here we had this pointer, and then down here we have this cursor, which is different, right? So this can be achieved with JavaScript as well. You can see some cool sliding here. It can be achieved with JavaScript. We can also use CSS to achieve that, or we can combine the two. You can see some hover effects here. So a whole lot of things can be done, making the site more interactive, more friendly, more beautiful, basically. So we can use JavaScript for all of those on a web page. Then we have JavaScript used for web-based games. So when the animation or the ability of JavaScript to animate things on the web page is enhanced properly, we can use that to create web-based games. So games that can be played on the web application or website. Then we have content management system. So JavaScript can be used to develop content management system and even desktop applications. So we have some tools or some frameworks that enable JavaScript to be used in developing desktop applications, and one of the frameworks is Electron. So if you're interested in learning or using JavaScript to develop desktop applications, then first you have to master JavaScript, how to use JavaScript efficiently, and then you have to learn a framework like Electron. So we have JavaScript is an interpreted language. So we mentioned that before. So it's an interpreted language. So in JavaScript, we use an interpreter to translate the language, which is in high level, to an assembly language or a machine language. Then we have JavaScript is a poorly typed language. So when we start typing code in JavaScript, you will see that JavaScript is poorly typed in the sense that you don't define types. So types are inferred based on the data that is provided to a variable. So we talk more on this when we start treating variables in JavaScript. So JavaScript is dynamically typed. So because you are not specifically defining types or a type of a variable, the data types or the variable types are defined on runtime. So that is why we say JavaScript is dynamically typed. Then JavaScript, we have JavaScript engines that are used in running JavaScript. So like I mentioned before, every browser has the ability to execute JavaScript. So that's why you can see all this interactivity, dynamic functionality, and so on web pages when they are run in browsers. So that's because web browsers have something called JavaScript engines that are used in running JavaScript, and there are different types of JavaScript engines developed by different companies. In the JavaScript engine, we have the interpreter. So the interpreter is embedded in a JavaScript engine, and that is what is used in translating the JavaScript code into an assembly language or a machine language, and then is executed. So an interpreter is embedded in a JavaScript engine. So types of or examples of JavaScript engines, we have V8. V8 engine is produced by Google, and that is what is used in browsers like Chrome. So this is Chrome browser. So V8 is found in Chrome browser, and that is what is used in executing JavaScript in Chrome browser. Then we have SpiderMonkey by Mozilla, and this is using Mozilla Firefox browser. So if you are using Mozilla Firefox, this is what is using executing your JavaScript code. Then we have JavaScript Core by Apple. So this is using Safari. So if you are using an Apple device, could be a phone, a mobile phone, or a computer. If you have a Safari browser, it's using this JavaScript Core engine to execute JavaScript. Then we have the Chakra by Microsoft, and this is used in this browser by by Microsoft Edge. Yeah, so Edge uses Chakra by Microsoft. Then we have CherryScript. Now CherryScript is a JavaScript engine that is used for IoT. So it's used to run JavaScript on microcontrollers. And so with CherryScript, JavaScript has the ability to run on microcontrollers, and is then used for embedded systems and IoT. Right, so these are the different JavaScript engine, and like I mentioned before, a JavaScript engine has an interpreter, and there are other components as well in JavaScript, and it's used in executing JavaScript in an environment. It could be a microcontroller or a browser or a device, any device at all. So thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel to get updates. See you in the next video.